What's up, y'all? It's poppin'. It's D. About to react to this vid by D'Angelo Wallace. It's titled An Uncomfortable Conversation About Cody Co. Several people have told me to check this out. Apparently, he's a PDF file, which is wild. I've reacted to him a couple times, not too many times, but his face is super familiar. He's really popular, in this YouTube space, and here he is being a pedo. But I don't understand. Like, so many predators are being exposed, and these celebrities and really popular influencers, they have so much access to people that are their age, but they go out of their way to pursue these minors. It's so sick. But yeah, let's see what's happening. Let's watch.
All right, Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation.
Oops.
Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mojo. And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury this story than you. And you're getting away with it because commentary YouTube has a serious problem. I can't blame any of your viewers or my viewers for not hearing about this because you've done such a good job hiding it up until now that I only found out about it recently. The situation has been talked about by smaller channels, it's been discussed at length on other platforms, and it keeps almost hitting the mainstream, like with this Rolling Stone article or this H3 podcast discussion. But the reason it hasn't caught on yet, despite all of this, is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
A lot of people like him a lot, and they really are like doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
I'm not here to accuse you of committing a crime in this video because I can't do that based on someone else's allegations. Nobody can definitively take these allegations as proof, but at the same time, they should still be looked at and not treated as an open secret and swept under the rug like you've been doing for so many years now. And from the way the situation keeps popping up more and more often, it's clear that there's only so much rug sweeping you can do before people start taking a closer look at things. So let's take a closer look. We both know that Tana Mojo is a YouTube personality with a history of lies, controversy, and genuinely problematic behavior that's become so...
I thought that was her in the thumbnail, but I didn't look that close. But, it is her. So, okay, how old is she now? So this happened a while ago. I wonder, when did she expose this?
Tangled with her brand that her podcast is called Cancelled with Tana Mojo. And speaking of this podcast, about a month ago, she hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with?
Oh my God, did no one look at me, Cody Co. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that.
This clip started making the rounds, and people were understandably perturbed because if Tana Mojo was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating, and Tana decided to set the record straight.
I hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you, and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a playlist live where she pulled him aside and told him, like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where playlist live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mojo is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Nothing would make this situation better, but plenty of things make it worse. Like the fact that she was a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had with her.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just, like, excited and a fan.
Tana seems to have many feelings about this, which we'll go over a bit later, but she stated very clearly that the actions she's accusing you of are inexcusable.
If I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill. I would never let it fly.
These recent allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making this same specific claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Co.
But what lends the most credibility to Tana's claims, and what is really the most damning thing for you, Cody, is a clip that you might not have even seen yet. See, I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and they all missed something. And I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. The original has been lost to time, and it's a wonder we have this on video at all. But if there was anything to give me any more clarity about these allegations before I formed my opinion, I was going to find it. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down?
Oh, Gabby
Well,
admitted
did
it?
you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he was like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
This is really bad. People make accusations all the
hell
time,
no.
specifically regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness and
Yeah, you can't dispute this at this point. When she's admitting that, and then he's gathering these clips from years and the story has remained the same, like, nah.
that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out, that's not something I can just ignore. In a situation that cannot be proven, corroboration by a third party
These
goes a
people are
long
so
way. And frankly, Cody, the
disgusting,
allegations
bro.
against you seem to have been corroborated. But instead of researching to find these answers like I did, many of your fans seem far more interested in attacking your accuser.
I have seen so many comments. But what was she wearing? It's Tana, so who cares? Well, it's Tana Mojo.
The reaction to this has been
Y'all are
unsurprising
equally
but
sick.
incredibly disappointing. Demanding proof that they know she can't provide, acting like she's only doing this to gain clout or ruin you somehow,
already got
despite
clout.
the fact that she's never once put your name in a video title over this. Or worst of all, implying that a 17-year-old could have truly consented to any of
I think that's very important to note, because I haven't seen any of these clips, obviously. I don't keep up with this woman or this man. But him stating that she hasn't put his name in the title, that's a clear indication that she's not looking for clout off of this situation, because if she was, obviously it would be Cody Cole, you know, he had sex with me, or however you can say it or word it so you don't get demonetized. Hooked up with Cody Cole. There we go. Hooked up with Cody Cole when I was 17. Like, there's a way to market certain shit when you are looking for clout, when that is your aim. And this woman already has clout. She's already a very, very popular influencer. So it doesn't make sense to want clout off of something like this, of all things, when she already has it.
But let's
That
be
don't make
clear
sense.
about one thing.
Y'all are stupid.
That is not the case. No amount of retroactive age calculations or what-if scenarios change the fact that what Tana described would be, objectively speaking, a crime. A crime which you've said absolutely nothing about. And even if this wasn't illegal, you remember being 25. You would have known then, as I currently know at age 25, that nobody this age should need an explanation for why a 17-year-old is off limits. Because you remember being 17 too. Now, thankfully, Tana's personal experience with this isn't one of trauma. In fact, I've seen people defending you by saying, Tana said she doesn't care, so why should any of us care? But that's not exactly what she was saying.
I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
And even if something isn't consciously
that.
internalized as an identifiable source of drama, the body keeps the score.
I know things manifest in ways other than me directly feeling them. Like, maybe I don't feel traumatized in certain aspects from certain things, and other things I do. But, you know, maybe they just manifest.
And the way that she's speaking, this just seems like it's an honest conversation. It doesn't feel like she's trying to be racy or trying to spill some tea in order to get attention. Like, this just seems very relaxed, and she's speaking in a very matter-of-fact tone, as if she's just sharing her experience and sharing her story. And especially since this has been consistent over the years, he's found these clips over the years of her saying the same thing. It just seems like she's sharing certain aspects of her life. So it's not giving clout chasing at all.
In ways other than directly feeling.
The answer to why any...
And people are so fucking twisted to be like, oh, well, she has a bad reputation. Who cares? You don't need to be this perfect victim. I'm so tired of people feeling like when something horrible happens to someone, you can discredit it by saying, well, they were a criminal, or they did this, or they did that. That is irrelevant. It does not matter what terrible things they did. You cannot excuse the terrible thing that was done to them and be like, well, you be hoeing around town anywhere, or you be doing this, or you messy, or you like that's a terrible rebuttal.
Of us should care is that a person has tried to come forward.
None of us are perfect. We all have done fucked up shit. So, like, expecting victims to be perfect and they have to be this nun in order for you to have sympathy for them is so twisted.
Her experience and has
I
been
hate
met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen
Every video.
in years. She's been dismissed, discredited, and disbelieved before anybody ever gave her a chance. Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent that if a person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
The most traumatizing thing of all of this really was seeing how many people, like, don't believe people or don't believe me. I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward.
And you, Cody, are part of the reason she's been met with this reaction. Your status as one of YouTube's golden boys has made it possible for you to ignore a situation that almost anyone else would have had to respond to by now.
I know for a fact if you swapped out Cody Co with someone that like people
More
didn't like that much, I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
I find your silence on this situation to be uncomfortable because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option, since telling the truth would be tantamount to confessing to a crime, and lying would put you at risk of being contradicted by a witness. And like I told you at the beginning, I'm not accusing you of committing a crime, but even if what Tana says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best. Why are you choosing the path that would be your only option if you were guilty? Now, some seem to think that you're not obligated to speak up, and maybe that's what people around you are telling you as well. But from one creator to another, you absolutely have an obligation to, at the very least, call out the misogyny, the victim blaming, and all manner of cognitive dissonance that's coming from your audience in the name of defending you against allegations that you're too cowardly to address. And to be clear, this is cowardice, because you demonstrate it whenever there's controversy afoot. Tana's further claims make it sound like you're terrified.
I said something about it online and it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good? And was like, I said yeah. And like, he was like, my wedding's coming up.
You do have a history of making bad choices when you're terrified of people finding things out, like your history of using slurs.
5 nigga, 6 nigga, 7 nigga, 8 nigga, 9 nigga.
There's more clips than that, but the reason most people are blissfully unaware of them is because you posted your vague apology not on Twitter, not on YouTube, but on Patreon, despite acknowledging in your apology that the clips were surfacing on Twitter. This is one of many examples of your poor handling of controversy. Not many people know that
people on his head in his comments. They talk about he a fan. Alright, that's not funny, but yes, you're a father now. Set the right example. Use your words. Take accountability. He has a child. What if he has a daughter? Sick world. You, sir, you are officially invited to the Diddy party. All right. Y'all stop. Well, let's be serious on this. Is he going to dodge accountability because he's a big YouTuber? Wow. The audience not dumb.
you've already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days, Leachman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman. To make matters worse, the woman in the video also alleged that Leachman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all. You had this man in your videos. You were telling us to follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then to inviting him to your wedding just last year, people are under the impression that you're best friends with someone who, at best, committed an illegal sex act, and at worst, is an alleged rapist. And no matter how many times people rediscover this information over the years, you refuse to say anything at all. You could clarify this, but you won't. But now your cowardice has reached a new low. You've tried speaking, and you've tried silence, and now you're choosing censorship. On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now, I couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation. Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram, where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily censoring your audience on YouTube. But surely you must have realized the limits by now, since people have just transferred the conversation over to your wife's channel. The fact that her comment section is overrun due to your decision to stay silent about this should be all the proof you need that that decision was wrong. At this point, your silence and censorship are a response with disturbing implications.
Yeah, I
the only
agree.
thing that I've seen this hidden portion of your audience asking for is the truth. So why aren't you telling it? And your silence isn't the only one that's bothering me either.
All these Reddit threads, like if my name's on any thread, it's all getting deleted.
I witnessed the heavy-handed moderation of your subreddit in real time as I researched this video. I would refresh the page and posts would suddenly be unapproved by moderators after racking up hundreds of comments, removed because they could, quote, instigate drama, or more commonly, just locked and or removed with no reason given whatsoever. I'm sure whoever is doing this thinks they're helping you, but you should probably tell them that they're making things look 10 times worse. But it's not just your
like you got
moderators,
something
it's
to
your
hide.
friends and fellow YouTubers too. It's no coincidence that with the exception of the H3 podcast, I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists. And I'm not talking about channels that never would have discussed something like this either. I mean the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same
They pick and choose.
channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario with an even bigger creator being accused of doing something much worse. You can't say it's because the allegations are unconfirmed, because the channels that I'm talking about discuss rumors all the time. And this video is all the proof you need that there's still plenty to discuss even without making definitive statements. The general public may not know about this situation, but I promise you anyone who's online enough to run a YouTube channel does.
The amount of people in this industry who like want to protect him and are like talking to me in a way where it's like they, you know what I mean? Like, or even just friends like, but I love him.
The community silence on this has been so staggering that people are now saying that commentary YouTube is a boys' club, aka a male-dominated space that mistreats women while enabling and protecting men. And the truth is, Cody, whether you're guilty or not, you are being enabled to ignore this and protected from having to respond as an act of misogyny towards Tana Mojo. We both know that on our side of commentary YouTube, any man can easily elevate himself by dunking on misogynists in his content and espousing a generally feminist viewpoint. But if that viewpoint turns to silence, the moment a situation is no longer cut and dry, then that viewpoint was a brand strategy, not a belief. The misogyny that we should be discussing is right here in the community, yet the only thing I'm hearing is a bitter, hollow silence. One that you have the power to end. I said it in the beginning, I said it in the middle, and I'll end with this. One person's testimony does not give me the right to accuse you of doing anything illegal, but I can point out the facts. It's a fact that you and Tana were around each other during the years she specified, as seen in your uncomfortable collab videos, which are still online. It's a fact that Gabby Hanna has made claims that seem to corroborate Tana's allegations against you.
He was looking at her ass.
And
Y'all
it's
saw
a
that?
fact she specified, as seen in
Oh, she does look really
It's a
young
fact
here.
that you and Tana were around each other during the years she specified, as seen in
I don't know what the fuck Gabby talking about. Like, oh, even though she don't look it, she looks really young here. But look when she stand up. Look, he automatically look. Look, he looking at her. I hate these people, bro.
collab videos, which are still online. It's a fact that Gabby Hanna has made claims that seem to corroborate Tana's allegations against you. And it's a fact that you are suppressing your audience's knowledge of these allegations by censoring your YouTube comment section. These things may not prove Tana's allegation, but you better believe that they contextualize them in a way that you need to address. And you still have every right to address this, even now. If you have a side of the story that we're missing, then tell it. If I have my facts wrong, say something. Nobody should ever be denied the right to tell the truth, no matter what. I'm sure we can all agree that everyone should have the right to speak their truth. But that's exactly why I couldn't just sit here and watch the whole world tell Tana that it doesn't apply to her. Regardless of the truth of the situation, I'm just so disappointed either way. That is all. Goodbye, Cody.
Wow, this is very courageous of D'Angelo to make this video. I'm not too familiar with his content, but I've definitely seen him like on my homepage. I've seen like the titles of his videos, so I know that he, gives commentary and speaks about certain things, but very brave of him to, speak out against such a massive YouTuber. Cody is very big in this YouTube space, so he definitely took a risk in doing that because you never know what the consequences may be when you go against someone that big. When you are that big, that comes with power, and then you have the power of their fan base, so you don't know what the backlash is going to be like. So I definitely commend him for taking that chance and doing what's right. Cody definitely looks guilty as fuck. He looks like he's trying to ignore this in hopes that it'll go away, but nah, you got to speak on this. It looks like this is gaining momentum, so you got to say something, because not only do we have Tana on camera, exposing you for what you did over the years, multiple clips of her saying the same thing, but we also have a clip of Gabby corroborating her story and saying like, yeah, actually at a party I saw this dude, and like telling the same exact story years before Tana even mentioned it. So it's like it looks like you did do this, and obviously I wasn't there. I can't speak on this, definitely and say that it occurred, but it's looking like it did. And based on his actions and him, if this didn't happen, he would have been came out like, wait, what the fuck? She lying. This is cap. Don't try to ruin my reputation. And it doesn't make sense to stay quiet if you're innocent, or even if you're being legally advised not to. Like that comes with a level of guilt. I feel like at the very least he could speak out and say, hey, what I did was wrong. I don't support that. I made a mistake. But, then you can argue that, he might be implicating himself, and maybe his lawyer is advising him not to do that. I don't know what the statute of limitations are, in Florida. I don't even know how old Tana is now. I don't know how long ago this occurred. But, I mean, at some point, you have to have a moral obligation to your audience to say something. So, yeah, this just looks really bad. I'm tired of all these pedos that just are lurking in the YouTube space, Twitter space, Instagram space. I'm just tired, bro. These people are just disgusting. So annoying. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one.